All right, so over the last couple of days, I've been receiving two questions. Number one being, what exactly is going on with the Mila quest? And oddly enough, number two is a room that is pretty much filled with Easter eggs that I sort of covered very briefly here on the channel in one of my shorts, as well as over on my TikTok. But honestly, I didn't really go too in depth with it. I sort of just showed it very briefly, gave a little bit of information, and sort of just called it there and moved on. This was probably, what, like 2 weeks ago, maybe even 3 weeks ago? But for some reason, this room has been sort of coming up again, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, well, unfortunately, exploiters have gotten into it, and they've sort of sent out pictures here and there to some of their friends, telling them that they've gone ahead and found the next step to the Mila quest. Now, here's the unfortunate reality about the Mila quest. There has been absolutely no progress whatsoever. Because no one really knows exactly what the reward is at the very end, the hype for it has sort of just died down. No one is actively searching for anything, and honestly, it's just really unfortunate. When we had the entire brick rod hunt, it was exciting because we knew that the brick rod existed, and we knew that it was obtainable in the game, so that sparked up a lot of people in the community to go ahead and search for this. But because at this point, the Mila boat has pretty much been shut down, the Mila rod has been shut down, the Mila mutation has been shut, everything about this quest has been shut down to the point where I don't even think it's a Mila quest anymore. I'm pretty sure it's just a secret quest. But either way, to pretty much put all of this myth about the room to rest, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a full tour because this room is actually littered, absolutely littered with Easter eggs. But of course, before that, let's give you guys just a tiny bit of context here. Contrary to popular belief, this room indeed is only available for staff members. In theory, most of the moderators for a short period of time would go ahead and grab like exploiters and stuff like that and take them into that room, freeze them, and then pretty much ban them that way. Or for example, scammers as well, just pretty much any type of person that they need to go ahead and speak to in private. That's more or less what that room is there for. Is it actually used for that? Nah, not really. It's sort of just a room that all of the admins, executive developers have just sort of thrown Easter eggs into. It's kind of funny. Now, as a staff member, to access this room, we need to go ahead and open up our panel, type in the word executive, and then teleport to location. That's going to bring us inside of this room right here, which again, during my TikTok, I just sort of stood kind of like right here and gave you guys a quick little 360 and told you to find all the Easter eggs that you could. Well, today, that's not what we're going to do. I'm going to show you guys each and every single one of them, starting with the Lantern Keeper over here. This is probably one of the most important things that was mentioned, especially over on the TikTok. And that's because a lot of people were sort of confused why the Lantern Keeper was even in here and why he's also tweaking. I mean, the guy is literally tweaking. Look at him. He's just like staring everywhere really quickly and fidgety, and it's kind of weird actually now that I'm looking at it. If we go ahead and talk to him, he says, "Greedle, oh, a keeper. Hello, friend. $500 for you." Then you click on show me your light and he gives you a completely random lantern. The catch is that this Lantern Keeper sells it to us for a reduced price. Why? I have no idea. I literally don't understand why this NPC is in here. Because realistically, every single staff member has the panel, and technically we can just give ourselves the lantern. So I don't get it. I don't get it. So for those of you that were curious, that is what the Lantern Keeper is doing inside of here. In other words, he's kind of useless. If we go ahead and take another look around here to the left side of him, you will find something pretty familiar, which is the Red baseball bat. So if you aren't aware, Red is one of the developers of the game. Specifically, he is the one that makes a lot of the really cool animations on all of the rods. We go ahead and move on from here. There's a basketball back here. There's a cool little Bloxy Cola there. A 5th annual Bloxy Award, which I'm going to be honest, I don't know if this is sort of like a foreshadow. Maybe they're just hoping that Fish in the future wins a Bloxy Award, which I mean, is possible. I could see it happening. Now we get into our first set of pictures right over here. So at the bottom, we have a random beach. I don't really exactly know who's in this picture. There's a lot of things going on. We got a person holding a sign that says I heart moms. Then we got another one that says oh no's, and a dude floating in midair on a surfboard with absolutely no waves in sight. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that what I'm looking at here is a half full pool. And this is literally what we're looking at here. So I don't even understand how he's surfing. I think it's pretty obvious that this is just kind of a render. I don't know exactly of what or who these people are, but what I do know is that up here, we have a good chunk of the staff team. This is actually a really cool picture. There's a couple of people on here that I don't really know too much because we do have a fairly large team. But I do know, of course, Maji. He's probably one of the people that I work with the most because me and him sort of work together over on the content creator management side. We got Ray over there, which is just He's Ray. I mean, me and him have like a little bit of beef, but it is what it is. We also got Green over there. You might remember him because he let us borrow his fabulous rod. In case you aren't aware, it's this one right here, which a lot of people thought that it was Valentine's rod because I was using it around that time, but I was just sort of being like thematic for that. So yeah, sorry about that. And then yeah, the rest of these are just sort of like testers, moderators, senior moderators. We also have an admin here, which is Robustic. He's kind of back there. Pretty cool stuff. Then we continue on through here. You have yourself a little bed over here, which I'm assuming is Mila's bed, which also came up in the TikTok. And that was one of the things that people were mentioning in the comment section. They're like, oh dude, Mila's bed is in there. It's obvious that this has something to do with the Mila quest, which again, is just not the case. I don't really think so. There is no way of being able to enter into this room unless you are a staff member. There's also another reason why people were saying that, which we'll get to in just a second, because back here, there is another sort of like abstract picture. It's not really abstract. It's just a random picture, I think. I don't really think that this has any type of relation to fish. Just one of those pictures that every time that I come in here and I see it, I'm super confused and I do not understand what's going on. Now, we turn the camera here to the middle of the room. We have ourselves a little hat, which in case you aren't aware, this is actually one of the first and only plushies that ever sold for Fish. So once upon a time, there was a physical plushie that you could purchase, which unfortunately has pretty much sold out by now. And I don't believe that it's available anymore, but this is basically what it was right here. It's actually pretty cool. To the right side of that, you'll see a picture of good old Kiwi just sitting here on the desk and right next to a telephone that is actually super high quality for whatever reason. Can I press buttons on this? No, it doesn't do anything. Now, I'm going to turn my camera to the right-hand side. This is the part that literally drove people crazy. On the wall here during the recording, it said Kiwi was here ... Now, shortly after that video was pushed out, I believe we did get a new QA manager, which is Nick. So shout out to Nick. He went ahead and actually added himself to the wall. So it says, so was Nick. But yeah, this is basically just a wall. I mean, honestly, at this point moving forward, I wouldn't be surprised if more devs write on this wall. It's kind of funny, but it's sort of just like a little bit of an Easter egg. Then if you look at the bottom, there is a box full of kiwis. But now, we need to go ahead and turn the camera up here because here we've got ourselves the boss man, big old boss man, Nate. In case you aren't aware, Nate is the owner and founder of Fish. To my knowledge, this is like the only Easter egg of Nate in the entire game, which is kind of surprising. I feel like there should be a lot more Easter eggs about Nate. We got to keep that man's legacy alive. You know what I'm saying? Plus, Nate's super cool. Now, if we move over here to the front, you'll notice there's some random fish inside of a cooler. Not sure why that's the case. And then up here, there's, again, another random picture. These pictures make no sense to me. I really hope that after I make this video, one of the devs reach out to me and explain to me exactly what's going on here with all of these weird pictures that are around that literally make no sense whatsoever to me. But yeah, this is that, whatever that is. Now, finally, we've got ourselves this picture, which is by far one of the most recent ones. As you can see, this is a picture that was taken inside of the Birch Cave bunker. Now, this is obviously prior to the entire update where they added a bunch of different stuff inside of the bunker. But if you notice, every single person is wearing a Mila Cat shirt and they all have the Mila Cat pet. I'm going to make the assumption that these are more than likely either all QA staff or they're all testers because Kiwi is sort of laying down in the middle. But yeah, man, overall, this is, again, probably the one room in the entire game that has the absolute most amount of Easter eggs all culminated in one place. And honestly, it was never intended for anybody to see until, you know, Carbon came around and he was given access to it. And now here I am making a video. To be fair, I did ask Nate. He said it was okay for me to do this. Either way, once we're done in here, we just walk up to the door and this will teleport us to in front of the leaderboard in Moosewood. So yeah, to those of you that have been reaching out to me about this room, telling me that you guys have found the next step, I'm gonna be honest, man, I don't think that you have. There's nothing really too crazy going on inside of there besides just a couple of little jokes here and there and references to certain developers. Again, it's kind of unfortunate, man. We haven't really made too much progress on the quest, and I really wish that a lot more people would invest time into it. I invested a crazy amount of time into it, and I just sort of just gave up. it was getting way too crazy to the point where I was spending like 6-7 hours on my computer just looking around, and I was able to find absolutely nothing. The most amount of progress that I made was the whole entire Morse code that we decoded, which was pretty cool, but I feel like we need to get some more hints, man. I know that they say that they've given us enough hints, but obviously not, because nobody's been able to find it. Either way, man, just a quick little video for today. I'm actually recording this video at 3 o'clock in the morning as per usual. Really need to work on my sleep schedule because it is absolutely fried right now. If you enjoyed this video, man, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Remember, we do daily fish content here. Consider this as sort of like a filler video before we go ahead and prepare for whatever exactly is coming on Saturday. As always, we will be live for whatever is going on, and I will hopefully have a video out for you guys with a full guide explaining what you need to do to be able to complete Saturday's update. If I get any more information throughout the day tomorrow, be expecting a double upload. But with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.